On December 17, 2014, President Barack Obama announced he will normalize American relations with Cuba, ending more than 50 years of diplomatic deadlock between the two countries. Some other European countries followed a similar path.
In 2003, European countries suspended their cooperation with Cuba, and in 2010, it was like a new start. France and other countries started to talk again with Cuba and make cooperations. So we have a lot of work on that, and it was great. At the same time, in 2010, Cuba, the President Raúl Castro started to make these economic reforms. In April 2011, he launched his lineamientos, with the guideline of the economic reforms, so how to transform the economy and to open a little bit more to the private sectors. So we work on that. We were with Cuba in this process.
So what's your take on President Obama's decision to normalize relationship with Cuba?
It's great and historical for the relations between US and Cuba, of course. And it's also a great moment for the relations between US and Latin America.
So you currently live in Panama. How is the decision of President Obama perceived in this country?
Panamanians and Panama government is very happy for this historical step made by President Obama and President Raúl. And also, if you look at a map, you will see that Cuba is in the center of this triangle between Panama, USA, and Latin America. Panama is expanding its canal, to allow the big boats, post-Panamax, to pass through the canal with goods coming, but mainly from Asia. These goods are for US market and for Latin American market. These normalizations was a huge demand, was a very important demand made by the Latin American country. In Cartagena, the Summit of America, 2013, all the leaders of Latin America, they just look President Obama and say, look, we are not going to participate in the next summit if Cuba is not with us in the summit. You know that Cuba cannot participate, was not allowed to participate before. So this was a huge challenge for the US administrations. So last September, what happened is that the Foreign Affairs from Panama went in Havana to personally invite Raúl Castro to participate to the summit, which is going to be held in Panama in April 2015. So these invitations put the US on the spot diplomatically, because US either have to normalize their relations with Cuba, so allow Cuba also to go to the summit, either not normalizing the relations with Cuba and then just go to the collapse of this summit. That's going to be very big damage for the US diplomacy and relations toward Latin America. And so I'm very glad that they choose the first options, they normalize the relations with Cuba.
According to a Washington Post ABC News poll, Americans mostly support the decision to normalize US relations with Cuba.
I think it's a great step. Obviously, our policy with Cuba has not been working for the last 50 or so years. I had the pleasure of actually going to Cuba and visiting, and I think it's something that I very much look forward to, an expanded relationship between our two countries.
I think that it's good. It's be good for business. I think Cuba will be a great place to visit, and I'm excited about it. I want to go.
For Arlington Public News, this is Yawa Digboe.